Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Jury's ready to bring in.
One stand, please. You may be seated. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday, when we left, I gave you certain admonitions. Does any juror have anything to report about those admonitions? If you do, raise your hand. The record reflects that none of the jurors raised their hand. General,
State would call Steve Williams.
Steve.
state your name.
Steve Williams.
Someone swear affirm testimony about to give you the truth, all truth, and the truth.
Yes, sir, I do.
Good morning.
Morning.
Scoot up close to the mic. Speak up loud.
Okay,
Thank you. There you go. You're Steve Williams, is that correct?
that's correct.
And you were previously employed with the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. How long were you employed there?
Just under 34 years.
So back in February of 2020, were you working at the Sheriff's Office?
That's correct, sir.
And what was your position or assignment there within the Sheriff's Office?
I was lieutenant over criminal investigations.
And during that time in February of 2020, did you assist in the investigation of a missing child by the name of Evelyn Boswell?
Yes, sir, I did.
And specifically, did you participate in interviewing the defendant?
Yes, I did.
All right. Now, at the time at which you interviewed Miss Boswell, had other detectives already spoken with her?
Yes, sir.
And were you aware, did you know what she had already told them?
Yes.
All right. So what was the information or what did you know about Evelyn's disappearance and Miss Boswell's involvement before you went in to talk with her?
I just knew that she had told that her daughter was missing, that it come in through DCS that her daughter was missing. And we was trying to follow up on her daughter being missing.
Where did you talk with her?
At the sheriff's office in criminal investigations division in the interview room.
Okay. And this interview room, does it have the ability to sit outside and listen to the interview as they're going on?
Yes.
All right. Did you listen to the interviews that were done by the other detectives?
Some of them and parts of them. I can't say I heard every one of them.
All right. And is this interview room located over at the Sheriff's Department?
Yes, sir.
And is that here in Bluntville and Sullivan County?
Yes, sir.
When you went in to speak with her, let me ask you this, what was your approach in speaking with her? Did you take a different tack than the other detectives had taken, or?
Well, I just went in and was just being nice to her and trying to talk with her, or if you'd say civilly and not browbeat her or anything.
All right. And was your interview with her recorded?
Yes, sir.
And prior to coming to court here today, did you have a chance to watch that interview?
Yes.
And was it a true and accurate recording of that interview that you had with Megan Boswell?
Yes, sir.
Judge, I'm going to move to introduce that as exhibit 182.
No objection.
And at this time, I would ask to play that for the jury.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Steve Williams. Hold on just a second, okay? I'm going on.
I can't go nowhere.
They've been talking to you about your child.
Yeah.
And where's the last time you saw your child? I'm coming on this phone.
Right after Christmas.
Where?
Ethan.
Okay. And you say Ethan, does that mean Ethan's in Louisiana or Ethan's?
In Bluntville. Like I told him, I don't know if he took and dropped her off somewhere right after I dropped her to him, but I don't know what's going on.
Where did you give her to Ethan?
Bluntville. I was drunk at his house.
Okay. And what's his grandparents'
I know his grandma's name is Sherry, but I do not know his grandpa's name.
name? Okay. Have you ever been there?
Once or twice.
And you've met him?
I've met Carl.
And that's his grandfather?
Yes.
Okay. And
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to tell you I didn't know his name, but as soon as you asked me, it fit around on that.
that's no problem.
Am I gonna be questioned here all night?
No, we'll be done in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Why, you in a hurry?
I mean, like, no, but if they're gonna keep questioning me and keeping me alive, like, I want an attorney.
Okay.
Because I'm not lied to them.
Okay. Well, do you want to talk to me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the last time you saw your child was at Ethan's, right?
Mhm.
And you took your child to Ethan's grandparents' house, right?
Right, but I never walked in with stood in the driveway.
Okay. And what was you driving?
I was driving my Cruise that I don't have anymore. It was a red 2018 Cruise. It's like a little Chevy sedan.
Yeah. Okay. And was Ethan's there?
I mean, I guess he was, I don't know. He just had me come up there.
Did you see Ethan there?
Yes.
And did you see his grandfather there?
No. Me and Ethan stood outside and talked. Kind of like away from the house.
Okay.
Like the house was like over here where he parked his car was like towards the trees of the house. And we were standing like towards this side of his car.
Okay. And you dropped that one?
Mm-hmm.
And
Put the car in his car and everything.
what kind of car was he driving?
A 2018 Nissan Versa. Black.
Okay. And then that was Christmas Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then after Christmas Day, do you communicate with him?
He won't talk to me.
But
On New Year's Eve, and sort of on New Year's, I guess, me and him argue back and forth.
on text message or,
No,
or actual?
On the phone.
Okay. So actually talking.
Yes, he would get mad and hang up, and then I'll call back, and he'd answer for a little bit, get mad and hang up, and just go answer.
Did he say he had Evelyn?
And I left him tons of voicemails, and I was like, look, like, if you know, or have the New Year's with you and Evelyn, like, I just want to speak to the family, you know what I mean? But I'll come to where you are.
Where was he at?
I think he was at his friend's house.
Who's his friend?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Friend around here or friend?
Friend around here.
And you don't know who his friend is?
He doesn't tell me anything.
How long have y'all dated before?
Like 3 years, maybe 4.
But you didn't
3
know
years,
his-
yeah.
You didn't know his friend?
No, I was never allowed to be around any of his friends.
And then, did you ever call him and say, hey, where's Evelyn? It's been,
I've tried to
2
call
weeks.
and he won't answer. I would leave voice messages, he wouldn't call back. And honestly, like I was telling them, like I had Evelyn for like over a year and he never checked on her and I had to support her by myself. So when I got here, I was like, you can take care of your daughter for a little bit. Not that I don't love my daughter, want to be with her, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, you don't help me at all. Like I want you to see how it feels, so no help.
So he didn't help you financially or
No,
taking care of her?
No.
He was in the military.
yeah, like he would never even be like, hey, like, is she okay? Or like try to check on her and help me at all.
Does he
You know.
live in a house down
I don't know.
there, and you don't know where she's at? And the last time you saw her was Christmas.
Right.
Have you went to his grandparents' house? and asked
Yeah,
them
but
where
nobody was there when I went.
Have you called them and asked them where she's at? Okay. And what brought you here today?
I guess my dad called.
So you still hadn't heard from her, but somebody's called about her,
Yeah.
right? And you have no idea where she's at? Okay. Have you tried to find her?
I mean, yeah, like I called, you won't answer me. I didn't know he went back to the army until today. Like that was news to me when they came in here like, oh, he's from Louisiana.
Have you went to court
No.
to try?
To be honest with you, I was really trying to be civil over it, and like I said, I supported her for like over a year, and I was like, if you want to keep her for a little bit, like that's fine by me, you know what I'm saying? My mom had a baby when I was like 12, 13, I don't remember, 2013, so I guess I was 12. And like I had to basically raise him. She only 2015, like I had to basically raise her, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was like I had 3 kids all the time. And I was like, it's his kid, if he wants to keep her for a little bit, like, by all means, you know what I mean, I'm all for it. And like I said, something I don't love Evelyn or want to be with her, but it's just, you know what I mean, is what it is.
She have a girlfriend?
Ethan? He might, I don't know, he used to. She lived in like, I don't know if they were dating, let me take that back. He was talking to her, but she lived in like really sketchy apartments in Kingsway, like the government house and one. I'll say her cloud, but I guess that's torn down, so I don't know.
You don't know?
Mm-mm.
So if you was guessing where she was at, where would you say she was at?
I don't know if he dropped her off somewhere or somebody or what he did, so I don't know.
Well, but they have to be somebody he trusted.
Right.
So who would you think that he would trust besides his grandparents?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I didn't know he really talked to his grandparents that much. Ethan never told me anything about his personal life. Like, especially after he got in the army, like, he's just not talking about it. I don't care how much I cried, he just was not talking about it, to be honest with you. And also, when he was in the army, he'd go like months without talking to me.
Well,
Before and after I had Evelyn.
well, if you're in the military, sometimes you're out in the field and stuff like that, you can't just.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but sometimes he would just get mad and just not talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like long periods of time. And I know that wouldn't be.
Okay. So if you could help us right now, find her, what would you tell us to look?
I don't know who Ethan hangs out with.
Does he have Facebook?
Yeah.
Does he go lost on Facebook?
Not really.
Do you have Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have communicating on Facebook?
He does not respond. I think he blocked me on Facebook now. He blocked me on Instagram. So he didn't want to talk to me.
Did you participate in any other interviews with the defendant?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you do anything else as far as the investigation was concerned?
I assisted other officers in the investigation.
You continued to do other things?
That's correct.
Thank you. If you would answer any questions Mr. Scott has for you.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good. And you?
Good. Thank you for asking. What time did you take this interview?
I don't recall what time of day it was. I think it was in the evening.
Okay.
It's
It's my understanding at this point that Megan had been interviewed by Tracy Haraz, a DCS worker, and then later by Michelle Gillen, and then you. Is that correct?
I couldn't tell you the exact order of the people who went in and interviewed before me or after me. I can't tell you that. I don't know.
Your interview and those other interviews that day, they were basically a continuation of the same interview with different people. Was that?
There were several officers and agents that interviewed, or several officers that interviewed that day.
Okay, but was it basically a continuation? I've talked to her, now you go talk to her and see if you get more.
Yes.
At one point, she asked you for an attorney,
No, sir.
but you didn't feel like she did.
No, sir. She said, if this happens, I want an attorney. She didn't say I want an attorney. She said, if this happens, I want an attorney.
You had instructed her not to go anywhere.
The sheriff's office is a secure facility, and we can't have people walking up and down the halls of the sheriff's office.
So she wasn't free to leave the room. She was in.
If she wanted,
Overruled for now.
After she asked for an attorney, let me ask you this: had she been Mirandized?
yes, she had.
Did you do that?
No,
You know who did?
no, sir,
How do you know she had?
because we'd seen the interview. And we wouldn't be in there talking to her if she hadn't been Mirandized.
But you don't know who did it, and you can't say that you did it.
I can say that I didn't do it.
You can say that you didn't do it, right?
That's correct.
But you can't say who did.
No, sir.
And as it relates to her question for an attorney, and this will be kind of my last question on that. You didn't stop questioning her. You said, "Do you want to talk to me?" You continued asking her questions, correct?
That's correct, because she never asked for an attorney.
Was that the entirety of the interview we saw?
Yes, I was walking out the door and she asked me if she needed an attorney, and I can't answer that for her.
So she asked you about that again?
She asked me if she needed one, and I can't answer that for her. She's 18, old enough to go in the military, old enough to fight in war, so I can't answer that for her. She's an adult.
What time did you come on shift that day? Do you know?
I usually come to work at 8 o'clock, but I can't tell you that day. It was probably 8 a.m.
I'm just trying to nail down the time period.
It would have probably been in the evening if I was guessing, late afternoon.
By late afternoon, you mean before 6 o'clock?
It would have been right around 6 o'clock if I was guessing that day.
Okay. Mr. Williams, thank you for being here. It's good to see you.
Yes, sir. You too.
Can you read it?
There you go.
Is he free to go?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your testimony. Your listening and understanding is ready to go.
Thank you, sir.
State will call Joey Strickler.
Raise your right hand. State your name.
Joseph Strickland.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please tell us your, actually just spell your last name for us for the record,
Strickler, Strickler.
okay? And where are you currently employed?
The Second Judicial District, District Attorney General's Office
How long have you been employed there?
since September of 2021.
Okay, and what is your title there?
Victim Witness Coordinator.
Okay. And prior to that, were you employed in law enforcement?
Yes, Sullivan, excuse
Okay,
me,
go ahead, tell me where, yeah.
Sullivan County Sheriff's Office,
Okay, what was your title at the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office?
Captain of Criminal Investigations.
Okay. And how long had you been captain of criminal investigations?
I was with the department for 30 years before I retired, and two different occasions, it was several years.
Okay. So could you give the jury just a brief rundown of your experience with the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office?
I started out in as a when I graduated from college, I started out as a corrections officer and worked my way up to a patrolman. And from patrolman, went into detective division, and then worked my way up through the ranks there to being a captain over the criminal investigation division.
And were you employed in that capacity in late 2019 and early 2020?
Yes, it was.
Did you assist in working the case of missing child Evelyn Boswell?
Yes.
Do you recall what your role was in this investigation?
Was the captain over criminal investigations. My main duty was administrative, and basically what I was doing was being a conduit between our agency and the FBI, the TBI, the district attorney's office, the staff and command of the sheriff's office, and also helping out any way that I can with making sure they had the resources they needed and the manpower.
Okay, so you're essentially a liaison between the different agencies that were working this investigation.
That's correct.
Did you personally interview Megan Boswell at some point?
Yes, I did.
And was that on February 20th of 2020?
Yes, it was.
That day, did you conduct more than one interview of the defendant?
Yes,
Okay, how many?
2.
Okay. To your knowledge, and you may not know this, had the defendant been interviewed by anyone else that day prior to you speaking with her?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Where did these interviews take place?
The Sullivan County Sheriff's Office Detective Division's interview room.
Okay. And is that located in Sullivan County, Tennessee?
Yes, it is.
Was the interview video and audio recorded?
Yes, it was.
And who was present during the interview?
Myself and Miss Boswell.
Okay. Have you had an opportunity prior to court to fully watch both interviews in their entirety?
Yes,
So first we'll go to the first video. Is that a fair, since you've watched it, is it a fair and accurate representation of the first interview you conducted with Megan Boswell on February 20th, 2020?
yes.
Your Honor, we'd ask that be made exhibit number
193.
183.
Any objection? No, sir.
And then permission to play it at this time for the jury.
Just one.
I'm Joey Stricker, I'm the captain of criminal investigations. They called your boyfriend Hunter,
Yeah,
and he's supposed to be ready for the
I was wondering, my mom didn't.
Oh, you want your mom, not him?
Yes.
Okay, I can do that, take care of
Okay,
that.
well, can I ask you something you answered honestly? Okay, so like when I got another cop's car, he was telling me like Hunter had like orders of protection against him or like domestic assault or something.
I can find out, I don't know.
Can you tell me that?
Oh, I could tell you that if I need it, but I can find out for you.
Can you?
Sure.
I mean, I'm not trying to be mean like you, like I just really like, don't want to be around that kind of person, you know what I mean?
I don't blame you.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find out for you.
Okay.
You're calling right now.
That's not no mom gave me.
Yeah, I can do that, yeah. You know, I've been watching, those videotapes, I've been watching it. I've been doing this a long time, I've been a cop for 30 years, and it breaks my heart to see a young lady like you, and you have a child, we don't know where it's at.
Did you watch me cry? I was trying not to cry and then.
That's okay, though. That's okay, okay? Because the fact of the matter is, you go to Maggie, right? That precious little baby somewhere, I don't know. And I honestly believe, I want to believe that you would tell us in a heartbeat if you knew where that child was at. And is there any way that you can think, maybe help me to find that little baby?
I really don't know what stars are telling me I was crying.
That's okay. That's okay. Okay? It's okay. I know you've not seen her in a while. And I know, we've been talking to even, we've had him on the phone. We've had his captain on the phone. We've been talking and trying to find this baby. Is there any way that somebody has that baby that's a friend of yours or a family member that's afraid that if they're afraid to tell us or they're afraid that you'll tell us, so they want to keep.
I don't know if you know that I dropped her off somewhere what happened. I was trying really hard to cry, but I was like thinking about her dropping her off and she's asked what she's wearing and stuff like that. And I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. It's okay. I understand. Please, we're just trying to find out what happened to that little thing. And, I'm a daddy, and it breaks my heart to know that this child could be with someone that don't love it, that don't take care of it, or God forbid something bad's happened to that baby. And, the thing about it is, everybody's going to point back to you because you're the mama, and you're the mama that let the baby go. When I say let the baby go, I mean, you're the one that took the baby and said, here.
I know, but I was scared to her dad. I thought it was okay.
You say you thought it'd be okay. Do you think something's happened to it?
I mean, no, but I mean, I didn't think that, I wasn't going to see her for months at a time or something like that. What I did, and when all started happening, I was like, oh, well, I want to be my mom just to kind of like solve myself. I don't want to do that, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be that person who does all that, you know what I mean? And like, I was her for over a year by myself. And I was like, if he wants to keep her for a little bit, it's fine.
But how old are you, Max?
18.
You're just a young lady yourself. You're a brand new mama, and you don't live in a different world, wasn't you? And, and I can understand you feeling that way and saying, hey, you know, I just want a little bit of time to myself, a little bit of time to be me before I have to be a mama. And you had all these things that happen so quick to you, you know, it bless your heart. My heart goes out to you. But I'm telling you, we gotta find that little thing. We gotta find her. And do you remember when she broke her arm? Somebody said she broke her arm.
I don't know if she actually broke her arm or not. I just know it was bruised. I never saw it. So I don't know.
You never saw the bruise?
No.
And did this happen after you gave her to you? Okay. Okay. Well, now, when they say that you dropped the baby off at his parents,
His grandparents.
his
Me
grandparents,
and him stood outside. We didn't go in
and who was the baby
on my head. And then I let her kind of like go to him to get used to him. And I stayed about 30 minutes and she was fine. So I left.
at? So okay, did the grandparents ever come out?
No.
They never did come out?
No.
Okay. And then that was the last time you seen her?
No, I saw her the next day.
You went back and seen her the
Just Thursday, and me and brought into it. He told me to leave.
Okay, who was with you when you went back?
It was just me.
Just you. Now, was you dating anybody during that time after you left?
Hunter, but I didn't really tell me if Ethan were into it.
Okay, so you went from Ethan to Hunter. Okay. Okay, how long do you know Ethan? Can you tell me a little bit about him? I mean,
I met
just
him
know
my
what
freshman year of high school,
where'd you go to school at?
Central.
Okay. Okay, so you just graduated last year?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So, wow. And where'd you meet Ethan at?
at school.
So he went to Central also. Okay. And then he got in, he joined the Army, is that correct? Okay. Hmm. So the last time you seen your daughter was sometime around Christmas, the day after that you dropped him off, you went and he didn't want to let you talk with her, be with her or anything. Was there a confrontation or anything? He basically ran you off or say, hey, you're not talking to
I think he just basically ran me off.
When you all met down in El Paso, you went down there, did you all just meet down there and you turn around and come back home with
No, I
him?
stayed for a little bit. He didn't come back home until a couple weeks
So
after.
did you bring the baby back? You had the baby with you, you
Yeah.
brought it back, okay. And then where was you staying at that
My dad went to trailer park and I was staying in one of his trailers.
time? Okay, okay. And your dad's
Called
Tommy,
me.
okay. So you stayed at these trailers and in the trailer park, where's that located at?
You know where Sugar Hollow Road is?
Sure
Like
do.
on the corner of Sugar Hollow and Buffalo.
Oh, yeah, I know where that's at.
They're like storage units across from it.
Yeah, that's up there close to Mooney's, the restaurant, little restaurant. place.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so you stayed there and then you moved out of there and moved in with Hunter?
Yeah.
Okay. Did Hunter ever see the baby?
Yeah.
Ever see
Not
it?
much, I won't lie to you, just because I'm
That's
worried
fine.
about bringing Evelyn around people, you know what I'm saying?
I understand that.
And also at the time, I'm not gonna lie, like Hunter told me his own station, we didn't talk about it before, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, iffy on who I bring her around, you know what I mean?
Okay. So you was thinking that you're doing the best for your baby by
Not having her around.
him and
And I know that sounds bad, but like now that I know him better, I don't mean he's that person, don't be wrong, you know what I'm saying? But I only know him about like a couple of weeks when I'm with him, you know, he's not like taking me out, you know,
okay.
they're really having us together.
But that led you to, I guess what I'm trying to say though is, that was a natural route for you to go as far as if you wanted someone to watch Evelyn was take her to Ethan,
Yeah, her dad.
her dad. Okay. Wow. We're fixing to send out what's called a nationwide alert. So we're trying to find this baby and, I don't know what's going to happen. I just pray to the good Lord above that we're going to find her and we're gonna find her alive and find her well taken care of. Because I've been doing it a long time, and the worst thing you've ever had to deal with is the death of a child, or a baby that's been hurt, or a baby that's been abused. And I have, I have a lot of nightmares about that. And it's been too many to count through the years. And all I want to do is stand up for that little baby that may not be able to stand right now. And I need your help. I do. I need your help. And if you can think of any way, fashion, or form, to know where that baby's at, or where, just to point me in the right direction. Please tell me. Please tell me. I want to bring it back in. Bring her back in.
I don't know.
Is there any way that can you tell me a reason why that you didn't reach out since Christmas to the family to try to find Evelyn and talk to her? Just even put her on the phone, let me speak to her.
Because I was really just trying to resolve it between me, to be honest with you.
You just what?
Just trying to resolve it between these two.
So what do you tell me what you think? What do you think's happened?
I don't know. I think they got any contract with someone else for it.
You think you could have hurt her?
No.
Did you hurt her?
No.
Would Hunter hurt her?
No. He used to get like mad and like threaten me all the time, but he never actually like did anything. You know what I mean?
Did he ever show any aggression or anger toward your little baby?
No, they don't know. No.
You never seen that? You said that she had a bruise on her arm earlier. How did she, do you know how that bruise happened that you think is maybe
Fell off the bed. That's what I was told.
where at?
And he said,
Did that happen? Did you ever see the bruise and stuff? You never did see the bruise of the broke arm or anything like that? So you did have some telephone conversation apparently
yeah,
with Ethan about her.
yeah.
Okay. Well, this is weird because the things that we're being told is that by him, he's like, I'm not seeing her.
He has seen her. I swear to you, he has.
And when you last time you seen that little thing,
On Christmas Eve, he had her then, but I had her for a little bit on Christmas. So me and my family and Hunter went fishing for her every second night. That Christmas day, and I got her stuff that I got her. And I got, like the stuff that my brother got her and stuff, and I took it to him.
they're on off of Hartown. Did you get to see her that day?
I
What
had
did
to
you
wait a
take?
couple hours.
What did you take to her that day?
I don't know what my brother got her, but I got her like a little horse and like baby shark stuff and clothes and stuff like that.
That's sad. I don't know. I don't know where this is going to lead to. Like I've told you before, I've been doing it a long time. And in cases like this, the fingers point toward the mama. And it points toward you because for one reason is that you willingly took the baby to Ethan. I understand why. I mean, you're telling me why you did that. But then, of course, he's not saying something didn't happen there. It was not right. That's what he said, of course. We got to find the baby. We've got to find Evelyn. Got to find her. Take care of her. And if it's a situation where, you know, that you don't feel like that you can take care of her, then I promise you, we'll find some people to take care of her, that little thing for you. And I promise you that. We'll do everything we can to to get you help and get her help to take care of her, but we gotta find her.
What do you all father does this mean I won't fantasy over anymore?
No, it doesn't mean that at all. Does not mean that at all. But I can tell you this, if you think for a second, a little sliver, that you might know where she might be. Or Hey,
For 1 second, please. You may be seated, thank you.
We've been recessed up 10, 15 minutes. No discussion, just-
For 1 second, please. You may be seated, thank you.
All right. Go ahead and pick it back up.
I mean, be around that. If he's an abuser and stuff that you didn't know about, you don't need to be around that. And then, you know, we'll find out. And I'll find out if your mom can come pick you up, okay? And
I don't know the number Hunter has it.
how does it?
Hunter does it, so I'm about to speak to call him and tell her to come get me.
Oh, okay, tell her, okay. We'll find out.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so now moving to, well, prior to the second interview, You stepped out for a few minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Any idea of how long you were out before you came back into the room?
I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Okay, you don't remember?
No.
Okay, and that's fine. So the second video, you also had an opportunity to watch it in its entirety.
Yes.
And it is also a fair and accurate representation of the second interview you conducted with Megan Boswell on February 20th, 2020.
Yes.
We'd ask that that may be made exhibit number 184, please.
Objection. All right, before exhibit 184.
And permission to play it for the jury.
I have, I got some, been a couple long time, and I've got some my own opinions about this stuff. But, just something that's not adding up. It's just not adding up. And, if there's something that, you think in your mind, anyway, fashion and form that you could think.
Well, I was talking to Dad today. He's a really small and that she's having all this story go down. She was gonna have to disappear, that she was gonna go to jail. I don't know what's going on.
Your mom had that something?
I don't know. That's all he told me today. I don't know what's going on.
So, Tommy told you that
And then all this started going on, because he called her the night before, he called you all, he told her what he was gonna do, and then she said, well, you can't do that, this is what he told me, like, I'll have to disappear, I can't go back to North, I don't know what, I hope she can do anything too.
See, but I thought Ethan had the baby.
I thought he was stupid, but this is just what I told her this morning, I promise you, I talked to him on the phone. On my way down here, because I called my grandma first, I wanted to stop down there for anything up here. I've never had any talk to you, he called me, he started telling me.
So Tommy told you that he has talked to,
No, this was before he called up here,
okay, but he has talked to your mom.
a couple days ago. And that, he told me that he lied to her, well, and me, and said that DCS was going to do a whole visit on the line because he thought that she was going to offer.
And so he basically, but what he said to Angel, man, help me with this. But he told Angel that he was gonna send DCS to.
And all that and stuff, and he told me that she said, oh, like, I'll have to leave, and like, nobody can ever find me again, like, I'm going to jail. I'm sorry, I thought he was biased, that's just a lot of stuff to say.
Okay. And then Angel said that she was gonna run, but she was gonna leave and stuff.
Well, that's what she told Dad apparently. His dad told me that, he lied to her and said that DCS was gonna come here and check up on Elijah, so he could get him from her, my little brother. And then when they met at Eagle, that, like, she was crying and like wouldn't say anything to Dad or anything like that.
Okay.
And she was got pregnant. I'm sorry, I just always had like so much faith in my mom and the fact that even the thought that she would do anything just really like. I'm sorry, that's what my first question was saying, have you all talked to her? Then yesterday, the whole way up here, she was like, bitching at me, saying that like, I won't lie, I lied, she didn't run out of gas, she just wanted to tell me.
I knew you.
I'm sorry.
You wouldn't tell them, that's hard work, so you wouldn't tell them the truth.
I'm sorry. But she was like bitching at me and saying that she was going up here, she didn't want you to be like seen, blah, 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 stuff like that.
You didn't want,
Want to be seen,
you want to be okay.
stuff like that.
Do you think she's in that car, that BMW?
Yeah,
Was the last time you seen her, she's in the BMW?
yeah, it's when she ran out to Evelyn Mae Boswell.
Oh, okay, that was the day that you walked up here.
Yeah.
Okay. was, like McLeod with her?
Yeah,
Did he drive or did she drive?
he used to drive,
Did he drive?
he was driving that day.
Okay, and whose car is that? Whose Beamer is that?
Well, Hunter gave it to her, but he didn't get the final phone number.
Okay, so that car should be in Hunter's name?
I think it's his brother's name, that's why I think it's how I it. It was Hunter's car, but Tanner was gonna buy it, and then Tanner backed out on it.
And is he not bad? Did you re-wreck for something in front end?
Yeah, on like the passenger side fender well, I guess, like it's kind of like popped out, and it's kind of bit into the headlights. A lot different on that side.
Okay. But that's who it should be, okay? And,
Well, Tanner's first name is Austin. I mean, I don't know if you all know that, but it's Austin.
I'm sure we got that. And McLeod usually driving?
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a couple questions with that, because I'm just trying to clarify things. And they just ate up the boat.
I mean, he is, I don't,
Listen, if, I'm gonna tell you something, Maggie. I've got a girl, I've got a daughter, and my daughter she's old now, she's 25 years old. But I love my daughter dearly. I wanna ask you something, do you love your little girl? All your heart. Okay. Now, that's what I'm getting to. Then we need you to help us. Because everybody, we're trying our best to find her. You know, and I'll be honest with you, I don't care one bit about putting anybody in jail or anything. I want her back. If I can get her back, and we can get you straightened out in your life and everything good together, y'all can come back together again. There's no doubt in my mind we can work those things out. No doubt in my mind we can work those things out. But we gotta get her back.
I know.
And so, with that being said, I just want you to be completely honest with me. No more feeling or anything like that. Completely honest. Are they running dope? Are they just using heavy? What's their drug?
They're just using, I don't know what she does. The only thing that she'll admit to me is that she's very far.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't know, to be honest with you. There were a few times that like Dad and I would went there, like Elijah, when she'd be with them, stuff like that. She had birds on her and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't know, like, if that helps at all or anything, but I mean, she don't like on her arms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, does she go by Angela or Angel?
Angel.
So, if you had to, if you had to lay it all on the table, okay, not one shot to find my baby and to get my baby back, where would you go?
They were trying to take me up in Mendoza yesterday before I came in here, and I kept telling her, like, turn over, get on the side of the road. If you won't take me up there, I'll call them, they'll forget me.
They won't take you to Mendoza?
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know.
Do you have any friends in Mendoza?
No,
You ever been to Mendoza?
no.
But they want to take you there. Don't take there yesterday. It was different.
Well, they wouldn't tell me where we were going. I just thought we were inside. Let me take that back.
I understand. So what risk I see?
But, State City Highway, one that had like yellow air, where it's like Mendoza, it's like $5 or something like that.
Okay.
We were headed in the direction. I mean, maybe they weren't like, we take me there, but that's just what I thought. Like, they would not tell me anything.
Does he have any ties to people over there in Virginia?
As far as I know, all his family's from North Carolina.
Have you ever, gone to see his family in North Carolina or anything like that? Okay. So, when I asked you that question about laying it out there where you might be going, if you had a chance to get your daughter, to find your daughter.
Well, Dad keeps saying that Mom knows something. That's what she's like, you know, not answering anybody, kind of disappearing.
Now, you know, I know that you said that you gave Evelyn over to Ethan.
But Mom also told me that she talked to Ethan since then.
Your mom has talked to Ethan since.
That's what, I don't know, like 110%, that's just what I've been told.
She told you that, Angel told you that?
Yeah. If you want questions or your father, do not tell her that I like.
Oh, absolutely. Don't you worry about that. Let me tell you, don't worry about it. I want your baby back. Okay? I want Evelyn. I want her back. Safe and sound. I want her, I mean, those pictures of her, that picture of her and you, I'll be honest, I got that from my office of you and her. So that makes me want to go that much further and try to find her. Okay? And it breaks my heart to know that she, I don't know where she's at. You know, would she be with someone else? Did they be treating her good? Was she okay? That type of thing. And then on the other side, oh dear God, could somebody have killed her? Could that little baby be in a ditch line somewhere? Maybe in a trash pile, something like that. And that's a lot. And but you said Angel has talked. She says that she's talked
Yeah.
to she's talked to Ethan. And you pretty firm that you gave let Ethan take care of her right at Christmas. Was it Christmas Day or
No, it was Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve?
Me and my family went to Pigeon Forge and I dropped her off before we went.
Those your little girl did not go with you to Pigeon Forge.
But me, Hunter, Dad, my brother, his wife, and like their kids went.
Where'd y'all go to when y'all went to Pigeon Forge? Just ask them.
We went out to eat at Olive Garden, and then we went around Grove Park, and then we all stayed at Margaritaville Island.
I stayed there before. It's pretty nice place. So you came back on Christmas Day,
Yeah,
and then you were back over. Did you go see? Did you see her on Christmas?
yeah.
Okay, so you went back on Christmas Day.
I had her Christmas day.
Did you get to see her?
Yeah.
Did you let you hold her or anything? What time did you go over Christmas Day?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I went to my brother's, picked this up, I probably got like 4 or something, so I guess it's after that,
So you took presents to her
you know.
at Eaton's. And you took them around. Did you get to go in or did you just?
No, he always made me say that's fine.
And then you got took the little girl Christmas presents, and then you got to hold her a minute, and then you gave her back.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you just didn't say, "Come on, you're going back to Mama."
She started reaching for him, but I didn't want to take her from him.
You started reaching for him.
Yeah. I just thought she wanted to be there. I didn't want to take her. And honestly, like, I just wanted to pray. That's all I wanted.
Who took you over there?
Hunter rode with me. Not Hunter sat in the car. Not exactly at the car, but
But you drove from here.
he drove back.
But you drove over. And
Yes, he drove back. Those were my careers that I had. never got as much as I can hold together the past 2 days. I just can't anymore.
You've been through hell and back, and you're still in it. You're still in hell. I mean, you really are. The whole fact of like knowing where your baby is at. Oh my gosh, I know it's heart wrenching. And you know, when you left on Christmas Day, get home and eat and say anything with each other.
No.
And,
Hardly get out of the car. Or Hunter only got out of the car and walked around the front to get in the car. On the driver's side.
and you wanted to say you pulled out a little bit, you swap back in with,
I knew they where he was standing at the top of the driveway.
and then he was just holding her when you pulled away.
Yeah.
Did y'all have any words or anything? Any anger
I
words?
mean, we argued, yeah.
What did you argue about that day?
Well, I told him, and I was like, I want to come see him for a little bit. And I was like, if you don't want to go with me, that's fine. We were at Griswold's house. I was like, just let me know. I won't break it. That's fine. You know, like, I don't care. Like, I just want to see her at Christmas. And he got mad and brought him with me. But I asked her, I told her I didn't mean to piss him off.
Okay.
And every time I argued again, because I'm a lot of you, he asked me, like, if I had any more doctors, and I was like, yeah, but like, I took care of myself for a year, like, it's your daughter, you can buy her back with, like, freaking doctors. I'm sorry, I don't know about it, so I don't want to do without anything, it's just, you know.
So Christmas Day, you're saying the last time.
No, I saw her the day after that. That's what he said.
And then, when did you see her over at Ethan's thing?
Yeah. He was pulling out the driveway, and I pulled in for him to pull out.
He had her with, he had her.
He got me out for a second because we're arguing, because he's like, you can't just show up here and stuff like that. And I mean, we just got into it as like there, and then he told me that I had to leave or even call the cops, so I left.
How did Evelyn act? When she came?
I didn't like reach for anything. I didn't get the whole thing okay. I'm sorry.
Was anybody with you then? Did you talk to Ethan much after that?
I talked to him on New Year's, and he wouldn't let me come over. Or New Year's Eve. If I say New Year's Eve, it's New Year's Eve, like the 31st. I'm trying to talk to him, he's just not really like answering me, but apparently my mom told me that she talked to him.
You think your mom talked to him during that time right there?
She told me she had been talking to him.
Do you not talk to Ethan? You talked to Ethan on New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
And Ethan said that your mom been talking to him.
No, she said that.
I'm sorry. Mom said she had to talk to him. And did he never ever tell you that she didn't call him?
No.
Have you been her? You have even with her?
My mom?
No, 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 okay.
No.
You don't think he's with her?
No. I feel like if you did go to next day or someone who's all take care of me, I don't think you would.
How is Ethan and your mom? Were they cordial? Were they talk? Were they, get along? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily like go out their way to talk, you know what I'm saying? There was like a few times where they like talked every text over the years. I was really, you know, 3.5, 4 years.
You know Ethan a long time, you know.
Yeah.
I know this is going back a little bit, but I mean, how long has your mom and Tommy been separated? I mean, I'm asking that is because I'm just trying to figure out,
Well, okay, they got like a divorce, I think, in like 2014, 2015. I'm not entirely sure. You know. I think it was 2014, but Charlotte wasn't born yet, but little sister. But they had a baby after that. I mean, they were like living together and stuff like that. But if you're talking about as far as like divorce,
legal,
I think,
yeah.
I think like 2014.
Who did they finally make the split? And, you know, Tommy and your mom, and she go her way and he went his.
Whatever his Ashley's birthday, I think it was 2014.
Oh, this has been relatively fairly recent then. Okay.
Yeah, it was June 28th, after Ashley's birthday at that.
June 2018.
I don't know I think June 2018, I don't know the exact date. It was at the beginning of June. I know that, I was over there on Father's Day, and she was there. So she had been there 14, because that was Father's Day, right?
It is.
Yeah, so she had been there before that.
All right. If
They weren't living together for like a long time, because they were all in apartments and like popular rooms. They were definitely like talking and she got they got to and stuff like that. They just weren't like legally.
have you, you've been living down with Hunter, right?
Yeah,
And you live in, I know you live in the trailer.
yeah.
Over in, down your business. I'll hang out over there. You live there, and then after that, you moved in with Hunter.
Yeah. I stayed in hotels with you guys.
Right, yeah. But that's basically, if I had to, that's the timeline of where you live and stuff like that.
Up until around like March 2018, from February to March, I was with my dad. Or until April, yeah, and then I moved in with them all the way up later. From April, and I stayed with her all the way through October.
Okay. So basically,
There were a couple nights when my mom was at a hotel and I go stay with her, but as far as like living wise with her, it was like my mom.
and then she's the one that lives where?
At the mom with dad too, like
May.
I'm very long.
So you live most of May Creek, what do you call her?
A mommy. Oh, mommy. I used to call her old mommy when I was little because she practically raised me.
Oh, Mommy, okay. You live there with her from, when you say?
April to October. I stayed a couple of times with her. I burned out my trailer though, because I'm elsewhere. There's a cop that lives right up the road from me that actually made me feel a lot better, so. After I see his car there, I was like, I won't be too bad.
Yeah.
Cause I mean, there's a cop that really like my neighbor, and I was like, it's fine.
Good. Okay. Now, okay, so, and then after that, when you
I got my
took
trailer
your
a
trailer.
little bit for Halloween.
Okay.
Cause, I took her tree like maybe a couple days before Halloween with my cousin Ashley, not my ex-girlfriend, this is different Ashley.
Okay.
And like, I remember I took pictures of her in her costume and she was at the floor.
Okay. You know, people ask questions, of course,
Yeah.
and, you know, I know that the last scene here on the 26th, okay, and on the 26th, Some anticipate, what time you start. So all this has transpired. If you had to answer a question like this, someone comes to you and says, hey, why didn't you call somebody?
Mom was talking to me, she told me I should try to resolve it with me. And that's what I was trying to do, and she told me she was trying to talk to me about it.
You did it again. Cause that's the first time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your lunch is back there, so I want to go ahead and break for lunch and let them try to figure this out. We'll come back probably at 1:15.
One thing, please. You may be seated. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, you can continue.
Your Honor, that was the end of that video clip. We just wanted
Okay.
to double check.
Yes.
We can go ahead and submit that to the court reporter. It was exhibit number 184. Okay. Okay. Anything else that you did personally involving this investigation other than continuing to be a liaison between the different agencies involved?
That's it.
Okay. Please answer any questions the defense has for you.
Thank you, Judge.
She kind of stole one of my questions. This is the absolute only involvement you had in this case. I'll go back to that a little bit, other than I guess your administrative roles as a liaison.
That's correct.
And these two interviews that you initiated or done with Ms. Boswell, those both the same day?
Yes, sir.
What date was that?
February the 20th.
Now, did you Mirandize her?
No, sir.
Were you the first person to interview her on the 20th?
If there was more after me, I believe so.
So you believe you might have been, would that have been the first interview we watched?
I think so.
And that would have been before Detective Gillum or Lieutenant Williams?
I'm not for sure of the time.
I'm sorry, I think those were different dates.
Well,
I'm sorry, I can't answer that.
that's okay. Do you recall anybody else interviewing Megan that day?
No, sir.
So it was just you and you alone?
I believe so.
And then you interviewed her a second time on the same day?
That's correct.
And how much space was in between those two interviews? How much time?
I'm sorry, I don't recall that.
Well, I'm not trying to trick you, but is it an hour, 2 hours, or just,
I'm sorry, I don't know.
that's okay. You interviewed her on the first one, and I imagine you stepped out of the office for some time. Would that be a fair statement?
Again, I can't, in 5 years, I'm sorry, I can't.
That's okay. You eventually come back and interview
That's
her.
correct. That's correct.
She never left
No,
and came back for a second interview.
not to my knowledge, no.
Be safe to assume she just sat there until the second interview occurred.
Correct.
Okay. Do you remember what time that was?
No, I sure don't.
What would have been your normal duty hours that day?
With an investigation like that, it could have been at any given time. I don't know. My normal work day would be like 0800 to 5 o'clock in the evening, but it could have been prior to that or even after.
Possibility these interviews could have occurred after 5 p.m.
Yes,
You just don't know.
correct.
Fair enough. Just a second, Judge.
Yes.
Be fair to say, though, that your second interview would have essentially been a continuation of the first interview with attenuated by a brief amount of time.
That would be fair to say.
And you said you'd been a detective, actually the captain over the detectives. You were the captain of that little division, so to speak,
Yes,
both literally and figuratively in rank.
yes,
And I imagine you've conducted a lot of interviews over your years in law enforcement.
yes.
At the onset of this first interview, we hear Megan ask about her boyfriend, and you indicate that he's coming down to see her.
Yes,
And she represents she doesn't want that to happen.
correct.
Did that have any significance to you as an investigator?
No, not at that point. During the course of the investigation, I was doing my best to either get new information or to clarify other information. So when she said that, that's when I believe I stepped out to ask to have a phone call made by another detective for her.
And would that be to just prevent the boyfriend from coming down?
She was wanting to see her mother, if I remember correctly, wanted her mother to pick her up.
And not her boyfriend?
Correct.
And that never resonated with you of why would she not want that?
Speculation.
Just that.
Okay, Judge. Can I just say? Really what you were interviewing about on this day was essentially the same subject matter, a missing child, that Detective Raz and Lieutenant Gillum interviewed.
Yes,
on.
sir.
So that was the focus of all of these interviews.
Yes, sir.
And so whether you interviewed first or they interviewed later, they would all be a continual interview over a matter of time.
It was a continuing effort.
I'll take that. That's all the questions I have, Judge.
Thank you. Redirect,
No, Your Honor.
is he free to be released?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for your testimony. You're free to go. All right, next.
They would call Jeffrey Blanton.
Raise your right hand, state your name.
Jeff Blanton.
You solemnly swear affirm testimony about you give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
So your name is Jeffrey Blanton.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Your last name spelled Blanton. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Where are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed by East Tennessee State University.
Okay, and what is your title there?
I'm the Associate Vice President of Administration and Operations
Okay, how long have you been with E ETSU?
since January of 2021.
Okay, and is that where you were employed in late 2019 and early 2020?
No, ma'am, it was not.
Okay, where were you employed during that time?
By the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Okay, in what capacity?
At that time, I was the supervisory senior resident agent in charge of the Upper East Tennessee.
Okay. And how long did you work for the FBI?
Just shy of 25 years.
Were you always employed with Upper East Tennessee Division?
No, ma'am, I've traveled other
Okay.
places.
Okay. Were you a member of the state or Safe Streets Task Force?
Yes, ma'am. I actually started the Safe Streets Task Force in Johnson City in 2012. And during 2019, I supervised the Safe Streets Task
Okay.
Force.
Can you tell the jury what that is?
Yes, the Safe Streets Task Force is made up of federal, state, and local officers and agents. And the purpose of the task force is to combat violent crimes. The typical violent crime you think of in bank robbery, drugs, extortions. And we also got involved in crimes against children as it relates to the Lindbergh Law from 1932.
Okay. And were you employed in that capacity on that task force along with the FBI when you were asked to aid in the investigation of missing child Evelyn Boswell?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
What were you tasked with doing?
Detective Strickler from the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office notified me that there was a missing child in Sullivan County under the tender age, which by statute is 12 years old.
Okay.
That gives the FBI jurisdictional authority to assist local agencies in trying to find that missing child.
Okay.
So I actually didn't have any agents available to come talk with Detective Strickler. So myself and another task force officer came here to the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office and met with Detective Strickler in regards to missing juvenile.
Okay, so in order for it to make sure I'm clear, in order for the FBI to be able to have jurisdiction and to provide aid, it needs to be a child 12 years of age or younger.
By our policy, we use the Lindbergh Law, the tender age law of 12
Okay,
to, it gives us jurisdiction to work those cases.
Okay.
However, we're not restricted by that if someone asks for help. Either.
okay. So tender age being 12 or under 12?
Or younger, yes, ma'am,
Okay.
that's correct.
And at some point in the investigation, did you yourself speak with Megan Boswell, the defendant?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. Was anyone else present when you spoke with Megan Boswell?
Yes, ma'am. Task Force Officer Todd Wilcox was
Okay.
also present during that interview.
Okay. And what agency was Todd Wilcox employed with?
Todd was assigned full-time to the FBI Safe Streets Task Force, but his home office was the Irwin Police Department.
Okay. And on February 19th, 2020, is that when the interview took place with Megan Boswell, with Todd Wilcox being present as well?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
And where did that interview take place?
That interview occurred here at the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. And where in the sheriff's office did it occur?
There was a room, I'm going to assume it was an interview room outside of the detective's offices.
Okay. Is that located in Sullivan County, Tennessee?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. Was this interview video or audio recorded?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Can you explain to the jury why it was not?
Certainly. FBI policy does not allow us to audio or video record interviews outside of FBI space.
Okay.
If we are in FBI space, then certainly that's an option, but this interview was not recorded.
Okay. see. Do you know how Megan Boswell got to the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office that day?
I don't have, she volunteered, she spoke with me, she said voluntarily, but I'm not sure exactly if someone dropped her off, if she
Okay.
walked there. I'm not sure.
Okay. So you sat down with an interview with her, and what did she tell you regarding her missing child, Evelyn Boswell?
She told me and Agent Wilcox that she had last seen Evelyn Boswell on December the 25th of 2019.
Okay. And where did she say she had last seen Evelyn?
She last saw Evelyn at the residence of Ethan Perry's grandparents. I believe their names were Carl and Sherry.
Okay. And did she state that she left Evelyn there? Or did she state that she took Evelyn back after she went to that residence?
Yes, ma'am. But I'll back up a little bit. The 25th is the last time she said that she saw her.
Okay.
She did tell me that she dropped her off at the residence on the 24th of December, the day
Okay.
before.
Okay. Was she able to give you an exact address of where she said Ethan was staying?
No, ma'am, she could not.
Okay. Did she say when she went to Carl and Sherry Perry's residence whether or not anyone was with her?
When she dropped Evelyn off on the 24th of December,
The 24th. Okay.
yes, ma'am, she indicated that she did that alone, that no one was with her when she
Alone.
dropped her off.
Okay. Did she tell you what she did after she dropped Evelyn off that day?
Yes, ma'am. She informed me that she and her family then went with her boyfriend at the time, a fellow by the name of Hunter Woods.
Okay.
That Hunter and her family went to Margaritaville in Pigeon Forge, spent the night in Margaritaville, and then came back to the Sullivan County area on December the 25th.
Okay. Okay. Did she tell you if she went back to the Perry's residence after she dropped her off on December 24th?
Yes, ma'am, she did. She indicated that she went back on the 25th.
Okay. Did she say why she went back?
Yes, ma'am. Upon returning from Pigeon Forge, Margaritaville at Pigeon Forge, Ms. Boswell indicated that she stopped by Tommy's house, I think Tommy Boswell Jr., if I
Okay.
remember correctly, and picked up some Christmas presents for Evelyn Boswell.
Okay.
On the 25th, she and her boyfriend, Mr. Woods, took the presents to the Perry's residence to drop them off for Evelyn.
Okay. And did she say whether or not they went into the house that day?
Ms. Boswell indicated that Mr. Woods did not go with her up to the residence, that he dropped her off at the end of the driveway. She walked to the residence, and that she did not go into the house that day.
Okay. So she indicated that Hunter Wood stayed at the end of the driveway.
That's correct.
So did she indicate that they didn't even pull up to the top of the driveway to the house?
She indicated they did not pull up to the top of the driveway.
Why did she say that she wouldn't pull up to the top of the driveway?
She had some concern that Mr. Perry and Mr. Woods may get in some sort of argument or altercation. Therefore, Mr. Woods stayed at the bottom of the driveway, and Ms. Boswell went up to the residence alone.
Okay. Did she indicate that she spoke with Ethan that day?
She did, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did she indicate whether or not she saw Evelyn that day?
She indicated that she did see Evelyn on the 25th, but according to memory, she saw her on the 25th, but less than an hour.
Less than an hour. Okay. Did she indicate whether she saw anyone else at the residence that day?
No, ma'am, she did not.
And did she indicate that she went back to the residence at any time after that?
I don't have a recollection that she went back. I know she tried to make contact, she said, with her daughter Evelyn later, but I don't recall she went back to the residence.
Okay, so it's your belief that the last date was December 25th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. To your knowledge, did she tell you whether or not she'd ever left Evelyn with Ethan Perry prior to this time?
I don't recall that she indicated she had ever left her daughter with Ethan Perry prior to this.
Did she talk at all about the fact that Ethan was in the Army?
Yes, ma'am, she did.
Okay, what did she say about that?
She told me that Ethan was in the Army, that he was home on break, and she was going to let her daughter Evelyn stay with Ethan, who she indicated was his biological father, for the holiday.
Okay.
And that he also indicated that his contract was up, or was soon to be up, with the Army.
Okay. Okay, so after that date, December 25th, did the defendant indicate that she continued to go over to Ethan's house to try to see Evelyn?
No, ma'am, she did not.
Okay. So did she tell you she did not try to go back over?
Yes, ma'am, I recall having a conversation, and she said that she called, I think on New Year's Eve,
Okay.
but that she did not see Evelyn. There was some discussion, she indicated, between her at some point. I don't know if it was the 24th or 25th. I don't recall specifically. Maybe both days. She said they did get to an argument that Mr. Perry said that he was going to try to get custody.
Okay. So she's telling you that Ethan had threatened her.
With attempting to get custody of Evelyn, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Did she show you any proof of any custody paperwork at any time?
She did not. I recall asking her who the biological father was on the birth certificate, and she indicated that it was not Mr. Perry. But I don't have any recollection of who that person was, if
Okay.
listed as.
So at some point she told you Ethan Perry was not the father.
Not listed on the birth certificate.
Not listed on the birth certificate. Okay, I apologize. Okay. So did Megan ever say why she hadn't contacted law enforcement when she could not get in touch with Ethan Perry?
Yes, ma'am, she did. I asked that question, and she said that because Mr. Perry had made threats that he would attempt to gain custody of the child,
Okay.
that she was fearful if she went to law enforcement, that would further anger him and bolster his case about getting custody of the child.
Okay. Okay, so Megan has told you that she's never left Evelyn to stay with Ethan before this date. Did she ever explain to you why she felt like it was okay to leave Evelyn with essentially a stranger to Evelyn?
She indicated that she was, I recall her using the word worn out,
Okay.
that Evelyn was attached to her at the hip, and she needed a break, that she had taken care of Evelyn for a year, and she felt like it was time for Mr. Perry to step up.
Okay.
And that she had also been taking care of her father or stepfather's children, other children in the home,
Okay.
and she was tired.
Did she indicate whether or not she could handle Evelyn herself?
She indicated she was just getting too much to handle. Yes, ma'am.
Did you explain to Megan Boswell that the repercussions of lying to an FBI agent?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did she indicate that she understood?
Yes, ma'am, she did verbally.
Okay. Did she ever tell you she wanted to correct any of the information that she had given you?
No, ma'am, I went through all of the information in the notes that were taken and read them back to Ms. Boswell. She indicated she had nothing to correct.
Okay. So she continued to say that everything that she told you about Ethan was true.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am, she
Okay.
did.
During this interview, can you describe Megan Boswell's demeanor?
Yes, ma'am. Megan Boswell was very matter of fact, completely unemotional. It seemed to be unattached to the gravity of trying to locate a 1-year-old child at the time. She did show some emotion, began to tear up a little when I told her that she could be charged with a felony pursuant to lying to an agent if what she was saying was not true.
Okay, so after that date, as the investigation continued, were you able to confirm whether the story she was telling you on that date was true or not?
At a later date, yes, ma'am. I was able to confirm that she had not been truthful with me during that initial interview.
Okay. Please answer any questions the defense has for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Stop.
Good afternoon, Mr. Blunt. My name's Gene Scott. How are you?
Great, sir. Hope you are.
Thank you. What time of day was it when you arrived at the sheriff's department to conduct this interview?
It would have been in the afternoon. I can't give you an exact time, but I recall Detective Strickland calling me. I was actually sitting at my desk, so it was in the afternoon, if I recall correctly.
And as I understand it, it was at your behest that the interview was not recorded in that room. You had the cameras turned off because of FBI policy.
Yes, sir. The FBI, we take copious notes and document thoroughly and go back over with the person we're interviewing to make sure the person is true and accurate in what we have documented. And our policy at the time, and I've been retired for a few years, but our policy at the time was not to record those interviews.
Okay.
Not unless they occurred in FBI space.
Prior to conducting this interview, had you watched any other interviews of Megan Boswell with law enforcement?
No, sir, I had not personally watched any.
Okay. Had you been made aware of other interviews with her?
It seems like Detective Strickler may have spoken with her prior to me speaking with her, but I don't know the gist of those interviews.
Okay, that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Redirect.
No, Your Honor.
Is he free to go?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir, for your testimony.
Yes, sir.
You're released from your subpoena. Next.
State would call David Gratz.
Raise your right hand, state your name.
David Gratz.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but.
Thank you. Please tell the jury your name and please spell your last name for them, please.
My name is David Gratz. It's spelled Gratz.
Where are you currently employed?
I'm an attorney in the private practice of law.
Okay. And prior to that, where were you employed?
By the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
When did you first start with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation?
In August of 2019.
Okay. And what was your title during that time?
I was a special agent criminal investigator.
Okay. Can you give the jury a brief summation of what that job entails?
Yes, I was assigned to the criminal investigation division. So it's what a larger department might call like a major crimes unit. So we investigated things like death investigations, missing persons, adults and children, also involved shootings and public corruption.
If you can also just give the jury a brief summation of your education up until the point of starting your first job.
So I graduated from East Tennessee State University with a bachelor's degree in 2011. I continued on and went to law school at Lincoln Memorial University School of Law and graduated with a law degree in 2014. And do you want me to go into my first employment?
Please.
My first position was with the District Attorney General's office in the 3rd Judicial District, primarily assigned in Morristown.
Okay. And then you went to the TBI thereafter. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And were you employed with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation in February of 2020?
Yes, I was.
And were you called to assist in the investigation of missing child Evelyn Boswell?
Yes, I was.
Which agency requested the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's help?
Initially, it was called in by the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office for us to assist in an investigation of a missing child. And later, we were formally requested in writing to assist by the District Attorney General based office.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm handing you a document. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What is it?
This is a formal request for investigation, commonly issued by district attorney generals throughout the state to request the TBI to investigate facts and circumstances of a potential crime.
Okay. And is that how the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation essentially is officially called in to investigations?
In a lot of what CID does, yes, we are requested by the district attorney general.
Okay. And on this specific request, what were you being asked to do?
It's essentially just to gather the facts and circumstances of the whereabouts of a missing child. That
Okay.
was Evelyn Boswell.
Okay. Were you given any background information to help you start your investigation?
And like most cases, you receive very little background information. Initially, I was just essentially told that she was missing, that her mother had been located, and law enforcement had talked to her at that point. And I think that's about all I was told initially.
Okay, and we can pass that back. We're not going to put that into evidence. I just wanted you to be able to see that document.
Thank you. Thank you.
We approach her. missing child Evelyn Boswell.
Yes, it is.
We'd ask that be made exhibit number 185.
Would be 185.
Defense. And permission to publish, Your Honor. Okay. I'm going to ask you a few questions about this. You said this is the Amber Alert that was sent out in regard to missing child Evelyn Boswell. Is that right?
That is correct.
Do you recall when the Amber Alert was issued?
Yes, it was in the evening of February the 19th,
Okay.
2020.
Okay. February 19th. Okay. And where does that go? Does that go just to the state of Tennessee, or how is the determination made on how far that would go?
That's a question that I don't specifically know the answer to. I
Okay.
know they are issued statewide.
Okay.
I know depending on the location, it can travel over into different states at times.
Okay. And the information on the bottom of this, it's pretty small print.
I can see it.
Okay, you can see it, okay?
I can.
Is the information listed here? And for, where had the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation taken these details that are listed on the Amber Alert?
I'm sorry, I don't think I understand your question.
Where did you get the information that Evelyn was last seen wearing a pink tracksuit?
That information was provided to us by the defendant.
Okay. Where did you get information about a BMW?
Also from the defendant.
All right. Okay. So after the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation was assigned, can you give a brief description of how you, let me back up one step. What was your role in this investigation with the TBI?
I was assigned as the TBI case agent.
Okay, so that means essentially the lead case agent over the case for the TBI.
For TBI, yes.
Okay, so after you were assigned this investigation, can you give us a brief description of how you conducted your investigation?
So initially, you just arrive on scene and you try to get as much information as you can. You talk to the people who have already been there, find out what they have done. You talk with the local agency or agencies that are already involved, and you really just try to understand what's going on in the investigation, what has been done so far.
Okay, and were you working with other agencies at this point?
Yes.
Okay, which other agencies around February 18th, February 19th?
When I first arrived, it was the TBI was on scene at the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office with Sullivan County. And I believe they were members of the Federal Bureau of Investigation on scene, FBI.
Okay, and how do you meet? How did all these agencies coming together, how do they decide how to execute a plan in an investigation like this?
In the initial phases, you really do the best you can, but it oftentimes goes to either the case agent or the highest in chain of command that is on scene, and they get together and decide which agency will play a role in what. You just divvy up tasks.
Okay. As part of what you did you go to the trailer that Megan Boswell lived in with Evelyn prior to Evelyn going missing?
Yes, I did.
And do you remember when you went to that trailer?
That would have been the evening of the 19th
Okay.
of 2020, February 19th.
So the same day the Amber Alert went out?
That is correct.
Okay. Anyone go with you to that trailer?
Yes, investigator Tracy Haraz with the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office.
Why did you go there?
We were going initially to meet a young man named Austin Feller.
Okay. And did the defendant still live at that trailer?
No, she no longer lived there.
Okay. Was anyone living in that trailer at the time?
Yes, there were current tenants who had moved in.
Okay, if I could please see exhibits number 49 and 50. I'm going to show you two documents that have already been introduced into evidence. Is this the trailer that you were describing as being the defendant's trailer?
Yes,
Okay, just another view. Is that an accurate view of that trailer?
it is.
Okay. And do you know the street address for that trailer?
I believe it's at 976 Sugar Hollow Road.
Okay, is that located in Sullivan County, Tennessee?
It is.
Okay. Were you able to determine who actually owned the trailer?
Yes, I believe it belonged to the defendant's family, either her dad or her brother, some type of association owned it.
Were you able to determine if the defendant had left any property behind when she moved out?
Yes, we learned that there was still some property at the site.
And were you given consent to search that site and or anything attached to that property?
Yes, we were given consent to search a small outbuilding that was right there next to that trailer.
And did you also conduct a search outside the trailer?
I did, yes.
What were you looking for?
Any signs of disturbed dirt, anything that would lead us to believe that the victim may still be there, or anything that would lead us to her current whereabouts.
Did you find Evelyn?
No, we did not.
Did you find anything else that was significant to the investigation regarding anything associated with Evelyn?
But we did inside of the shed that was next to the trailer.
Okay. So what did you find in the shed?
A stroller that had been left behind.
Okay. I'm going to show you two photographs. Do you still have the photographs?
All right, objections overruled.
Yes,
you.
I do.
You still have the photographs? Okay,
I do.
okay. Do you recognize those photographs?
Yes.
What is it?
These are two photographs of the stroller we found that evening.
Okay. And were you able to determine whose property that was?
Yes, this belonged to the defendant.
Okay. So when you say belonged to the defendant, you found it where again?
In the shed that's essentially not attached, but very close to the trailer where the defendant was living.
Okay. So did not buy, you said there were new tenants in that trailer.
That is correct.
Okay. They indicate that that was their stroller.
No, they,
Objection sustained.
Did you locate anything else of relevance to this investigation inside the shed?
not that I can recall.
At this time, we're gonna, well, let me ask this. The photographs, are they fair and accurate representation of how the stroller appeared on that date.
Yes,
But that's supposed to be made, if possible, collective exhibit number 186.
The collective 186 of the defendant's exemption.
Permission to publish. Is this the stroller that was inside the shed that day?
yes, it is.
Is this just a side view of that same stroller?
Correct.
Did you also take the stroller itself into evidence?
Yes, we did.
Okay. If, Your Honor, may he step down for a second? If you could step down to where the microphone is. And I'm going to ask if you can identify this piece, if you can recognize what that is.
Yes, I recognize
Okay, and what is it?
that. It's the stroller we found at the defendant's former trailer.
Okay, we'd ask that be made exhibit number 187.
Be full exhibit 187, over objection.
And Your Honor, would you like for us to fold that up? They're not always the easiest. Ooh, good job. Do you need help? Just roll it up, see if we can roll it under the table. That'll work. There you go. Thank you. Okay. So I'm assuming, was law enforcement working long hours during these first few days?
Absolutely.
Did you attempt to interview the defendant about Evelyn?
Yes, later that night
Okay. And what would the date have been for that?
when we attempted the interview, it was on February 19th of 2020,
Okay. And about what time did that interview start?
shortly before midnight and continued on into the early morning hours of February 20th
Okay. Where did it take place?
at the sheriff's office here in Blackville.
Okay. Was this interview audio or video recorded?
I believe that interview was audio only recorded.
Okay. And is that office that you interviewed located in Sullivan County, Tennessee?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Prior to talking with the defendant, did you Mirandize her?
I did.
Did she agree to speak with you?
She did.
During this interview, did she tell you the last time that she saw Evelyn?
Yes, she did.
Okay. When did she say she last saw Evelyn?
The day after Christmas on the 26th of December, 2019.
Okay. Where did she say she saw Evelyn?
At Ethan Perry's grandparents' house.
Who did she say Ethan was in relation to Evelyn?
She had told us, or the defendant being she, had told us that Ethan Perry was Evelyn's father.
Did you talk with her about where Ethan was living?
I did, yes.
Okay, what did you tell her?
Told her that, we had learned that Ethan was full-time in the military and was currently living on a base in Louisiana, I believe, and was living in a barracks on a base.
Had law enforcement already talked to Ethan at this point?
Yes, they had the Army's branch of CID.
Okay. And did you tell the defendant that?
I did.
What did you tell her about Ethan and Evelyn?
I essentially just told her that law enforcement had cleared that idea that Ethan had Evelyn inside of a barracks. And
Okay. Did Megan stay with that story about Ethan?
at that time, she maintained that all she knew was that Ethan had Evelyn.
Okay. And where did she say that she had been living?
As of recently, she told us, the defendant told us she had been living with her boyfriend Hunter.
Okay. Did you ask her if Hunter could have hurt Evelyn?
I did. I asked that specifically.
What did she say?
The defendant said that Hunter would not do that.
Did you ask her if Hunter had been around Evelyn at all?
I did, yes.
And what did she say?
Essentially, no. At that point, she said Hunter had never been around Evelyn.
Okay. Did she say if Hunter had ever babysat Evelyn?
We were told by the defendant that Hunter never babysat Evelyn.
Did she say if Hunter had ever held Evelyn?
The defendant told us that Hunter never held Evelyn.
Did you ask her if Evelyn had ever stayed at Hunter's house over on Sandy Point?
Yes, I asked her about that, and the defendant told me that no, Evelyn had never stayed over at Hunter's residence.
Okay. Prior to when she said she left Evelyn with Ethan, did she indicate whether she'd ever left Evelyn with Ethan in the past?
She told us that Ethan had never kept Evelyn alone prior to that day.
Okay. Did she tell you whether or not Evelyn had met Ethan before?
They had been introduced, I believe, briefly prior to that day on a trip to Texas.
Okay. Did the defendant tell you how many times she'd seen Evelyn after leaving her with Ethan in December?
I believe that we had talked about that, yes.
Okay. Do you recall how many times she said she'd seen Evelyn?
I don't think she had seen Evelyn at all after that December 26th date.
I'll not make the objection. We approach the
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to go with the officer.
Everyone stand, please. You may be seated. Thank you.
We'll take about a 15-minute break. Mr. Gatz, please do not discuss your testimony with any other witness. Without him to discuss their testimony.
Court stands in recess.